Joining me back again on the 1045theteam.com podcast, News 10's Justin Andrews. Justin, we'll start with this. You and I were both at Sefke Arena this past week on Wednesday when Will Brown got his 200th career win. But more importantly, the storyline was UAlbany raising $12,000 for Peter Hooley, for Peter Hooley's mother, Sue, who's back in Australia battling colon cancer. $12,000 at the Cancer Council of South Australia. You did a lot of legwork behind the scenes, talking with Peter before the game, seeing his reaction after the game. What was that night like from your perspective?
It was a pretty cool event that they had going on. In the post-game press conference, Will Brown said that they only talked about this the Thursday the week before, and they finally got legs. And they weren't sure how many bracelets were going to be sold, but they sold them all out within the first 3 minutes of the first half. So it showed that people had awareness for what was going on and what they were trying to do to raise money for Peter's family's organization for the Undies run. When we got into the press conference, we knew it was around $6,000, but then the anonymous donor donated another $6,000 of their own dollars, so there's $12,000 already. And then the reporter I was working with, Josh Rotenberg, said that now the Hooley Doolies, the team that's in the race, has now raised over $19,000.
So what was the raw emotion like in the press conference? Again, you were there. You saw Peter's reaction upon learning the amount of money that had been raised and the support that the community had shown for him and his family. What was that moment like, just seeing that raw emotion out of Peter?
For any person that's had to deal with cancer in any form of their life, it's kind of shocking to hear that people care. People do care. It's just a matter of how much they do. And just seeing him break down into tears, he's speechless. He didn't know what to say because he's so far away from home. He's on the other side of the world, and she's battling, this disease that affects so many people in so many ways. You get an extra boost just to help out because people know and care about you and they care about your family's well-being. It kind of just floored me a little bit as someone who's had to deal with cancer in their family before.
And on top of that, UAlbany comes out and gets the win. They beat Binghamton. They go to 4-0 in America East play. Danes look pretty good, don't they, Justin?
They did look very impressive. I see Coach Brown's going to his bench more often. And that's probably a good thing because he's giving guys like Rowley a little break with Greg Steyer coming in or even Mike Rowley coming in to help him out as well. But you have to be impressed with how they're playing right now heading into America East play, the bulk of the schedule where you have Stony Brook coming in. You'll also have Vermont as well, too. So it's going to be very competitive now for UAlbany. I mean, they're off to a great start at 4-0. But a real litmus test is going to be on Monday with Stony Brook, who has one of the best players in the conference.
Danes travel to Stony Brook on Monday night. Dane women at home. Coach Abe also got her 200th win, ironic enough. I don't think that's ever been done before, Justin, that a men's coach and a women's coach in the same program get 200 wins or get the same milestone number of wins on the same night.
I don't remember that ever happening. I mean, they just became a trivia question right there. But I'm happy for her. I mean, it only seemed like a matter of time, and the Dane women just seem to be rolling through conference play right now as usual.
Dane women do beat Binghamton 84-49. To get Coach Abe her 200th point. Switching gears over to the ice, Justin, you may be at one of these two games. You're not quite sure where you'll get sent yet, but big weekend on tap in ECAC play for both RPI and Union. RPI sitting in 6th place right now in the ECAC, Sandy's Union in 8th. The two teams welcome in Cornell and Colgate this weekend. It will be RPI against Colgate tonight, Cornell against Union. Justin, tell us real quick what you think is going to transpire on the ice this weekend for the local clubs. It's
going to be a tough test whoever plays Colgate. Colgate's one of the best teams in the ECAC. They were projected to win the league this year, but Quinnipiac, who just throttled RPI and Union last week, is number 1 right now in the ECAC. But Colgate's a team that should not be messed around with. They finished second last year, I believe, and they lost to Union in the title game. So they're going to be a very competitive team against RPI tonight, who they play. And then Cornell will be playing Union. And it's going to be hard for, I think, whoever plays Cornell because they're all in the same spot where Union and RPI are, where they're on the cusp of being in the top 4 where you can get a first-round bye in the ECAC. But these three teams are all trying to get to that point where they can be the 4 seed, which is it's not a far stretch for either of them. They just need to get some wins in a row. And maybe we can see Union start to kick it into gear now after that tie with Boston University and going 1-1-1 in their last 3 games. But have that loss to Quinnipiac, you have to see how they're going to come out of the gates against the Big Red tonight.
Justin, you may also find yourself at some high school hoops action tonight as well. I was at Shen Shaker on Tuesday. Shen won that game by a whopping 51 points. We're all getting ready for the big Suburban Council contest, Shen versus Guilderland, on next Tuesday coming up. That should be one of the best matchups of the season here.
It really should be. I mean, everyone's surprised about how good Guilderland has been over the last 2 years, but if you watch them play, which I haven't yet this year, but I've only seen the box score, they look like a team that's just ready to compete and try and stop all the teams that were formerly in the Big Ten and Green Tech from winning a Section 2 title and getting the Suburban Council Section 2 title when it comes around that time in March.
I'm telling you what, Andrew Playtech, Justin, if you haven't seen him yet, you're going to see him on Tuesday. I'm sure you'll be at that game. I will as well. Andrew Playtech, one of the best pure shooters in Section 2, one of the best players in Section 2. Shen, though, very, very formidable as well. And again, there are a slew of others. Green Tech, Catholic Central is very strong. CBA just pulled a nice win over Schenectady, so you never know what's going to happen come March, and we're heading down towards that way. Justin Andrews, News Channel 10, as always, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.